story because I felt like a funny story needed to be told again. Though after Benji's, I don't know. My grandmother passed away about 6 years ago. I didn't even think it was that long until I found her obituary today. And it was like, oh, really? 2010? Okay. But the thing is, she was working up until she died. Even after she was in the hospital, she was working on her cell phone constantly. We only know this because one of the people she kept texting with my father, who kept telling her to put her phone away. The doctors are in the room, put your phone away. But I remember a lot about my grandmother. She was the first female president of the Rotary in Ashland. For a long time, she was an executive of the United Way of Ashland. She ran a lot of things in Ashland County. When I was little, she would take me to museums constantly. She always encouraged me to write more, was always looking for different writing contests, different library jobs. Anything she could find for me, she was finding for me and emailing to me. We would email constantly back and forth. I usually never got to see her, but maybe Christmas every now and then, but we were constantly emailing. So I was thinking, Kay Conrad, she's a strong woman. I needed a good story about her, something where she did something really great. Except the only thing I could really think about was the story I wrote in 9th grade for a writing contest and won first place. In which, 1975, she decided she was going to cook Thanksgiving dinner. And so when she thought about this, she realized that underneath the burners of the stove, that big space wasn't just for pans, it was also for cooking. So this huge plan, she was going to cook Thanksgiving dinner. She woke up bright and early that morning, put the turkey in the oven, planned 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, except for at noon, the turkey was still raw. She didn't understand why. Well, one, not only do you have to turn it on, you have to turn it on to a certain degree to cook the turkey. So they kept waiting, and they had rolls and side dishes that people brought throughout the day. 4 o'clock, still not done. As the national anthem was playing on television that night, and if you know why the national anthem was playing on television, it's because the television signal was cutting out. That's when they finally had dinner. She quit deciding she was going to cook big meals after that. Apparently in 1982 she tried it again. Wasn't born yet. I didn't experience that. I'm grateful for that. Most of the dinners I ever had at her house were for big holidays were usually cold cuts. Yeah, I was very considering I never experienced the previous meals that she cooked. Most of the big meals at holidays were at my other grandparents' house. So as I'm thinking about this story today, and as I said, I won first place in a writing contest my freshman year of high school. She was really excited for me, except her only response after she got the full newspaper in the mail where I was published, which was actually a uncensored version, because apparently when I picked up the newspapers, they had to physically delete an article out of the paper by cutting it out, and it was the page after the story, so she almost got a copy without my story in it. Mm-hmm. All her response was, "Well, why didn't you turn to me? I could have given you a whole bunch more information." So as I say, she passed away about 6 years ago, constantly working in. As I think, this is a really fast story, I had a whole lot more to it. Like I said, she's constantly working up till the day she died. She passed away from lung cancer at age 75. And then even at age 75, she was still working her butt off. I was a proofreader at the time and was proofreading a trade school catalog, and in it I noticed the day after I got back from her funeral, she had been teaching a nursing class. And when I I circled it, you know, gave it back to the person I was supposed to send it back to the school. And the response from the people who ran the catalog at the school was, yeah, we're going to leave it. It says Kay Conrad's teaching this class. People are going to come to it because she taught it. Okay.
Wow.